Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I hope you all are well. It is almost 9 o'clock here in Alabama, and I am here tonight just for a few minutes. I am ashamed to say we have not eaten dinner yet. My kids are eating. We have been moving and shaking all over the place today, and so the saga will continue tomorrow with some exciting things that I'll share with you guys in the next few days. But I'm here tonight to talk about what's taking so long. I am excited about tonight's live. It's not going to be all night. I'm going to stay on top of my time. Hey, you guys, I'm going to stay on top of my time. I've been live for a minute, so it's going to be a 15-minute live tonight. Okay. And this time, I swear this to be true. All right. If you are new here for whatever reason, you're just seeing us for the first time, my name is Christina Garrett. It is my honor to serve the world as a productivity coach for ambitious superstar working mothers, those who are stirring up and moving in the direction of their dreams, but they also want to see excuse me, how to create the work-life balance that they have been craving. All right. Most of our community, our clientele, the ladies that come to our yearly conference are multitasking women. They are entrepreneurs, they're corporate baddies, they are wives and mothers and ministry leaders and community leaders and councilwomen and attorneys and educators, all phenomenal women who are moving in the right direction, but they know they need some support with creating the work-life balance that they desire. Okay. And so every week I am here live teaching, training, encouraging you all, good evening, to move in the direction that is calling you. But then how in the world do I do that with all of my life waiting on me? How do I succeed? How do I grow in my definition of success when children still need to eat? When laundry is everlasting, okay? How do I do that when I still need to be an energetic and fun wife? When I still want to be his girlfriend and his mistress? I want to be all of these women. How in the world do I become the woman that I really want to be? And so here in this community, we are all multifaceted, multitasking superstars who are redefining what success looks like for us as women. Okay. And in the core of this, I always want us to know and feel internally that you can have whatever you believe you can have. You can have it. Like, I don't know what your personal it is. It's impossible for Christina to know unless you're a client and we're talking about it. But you know what your it thing is, whether that is your business being a certain place, whether that's a transition that you're desiring in your family, whether you want to travel more, be more successful at whatever it is that's in your heart. Like, we have to make sure that we are doing so with the proper balance. Now, if you ask a lot of people, they'll say that balance is elusive. It's not for real. Just like someone will say being successful, what does that even mean? And so tonight we're talking about what's taking you so long. What's taking you so long to make your payment? Okay. By payment, I was talking to my husband earlier and he actually gave me this idea. So I'm going to give him the shout out for this. He gave me the idea because we were just talking about the process of investing. Okay. So we have been doing a lot more in terms of youth ministry, preparing for a convention coming up, where they have put us in leadership position for the convention, and gathering youth and young adults from all over the state of Alabama, to encourage them to walk with Christ, right? And so in that same effort, someone was saying that investing in, like, serving our children, loving our children in the church is worth the cost. Okay, they were saying that kids, loving children, serving children was worth the cost. And then my husband said something that was so profound. He said, if it's an investment, if we're investing in our children, there is no cost. I said, baby, you just dropped a real gem right there. He said, if it's an investment, there is no cost. It X's out. You see, an investment, if I give you $5 and you give me $6 back, I have invested. In fact, I was the person who got the come up by lending that money to you. If we pour into our children, every conversation, every long, tedious teaching lesson, all of these things that we have to do for our children, for our loved ones, these are investments because I know that it's going to come back to me. It's going to pay off for me. Okay. And so I had, in conjunction with that, a thought in mind from a book. Y'all know I love my books. Okay, y'all know I love my books. This particular book is called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. I don't even know what the front of the book looks like anymore, guys. Y'all can see the cover is long gone. My dog might have got a hold of this book. I've had it for a minute, but it just talks about being successful, okay? And for just a few minutes, until my trout is done in the oven, we're going to talk about redefining success and what's taking you so long to make your payment. So in this particular book, he says, not only do we all want the same things, but we all know what we have to do to achieve them. And we all intend to do those things sometime. So we like to take a vacation to a wonderful fantasy place called Someday Isle. Someday Island, okay? Someday I'll read that book. Someday I'll exercise like I said I would. Someday I'll upgrade my skills and learn more money. Someday I'll invest in that program. Someday I'll get my finances under control. Someday I'll do all the things because I know I need to do them to achieve my goals. Someday. And so what he reminds us in this book early on, this is the introduction. And what he shares with us is success has a cost. Success has a cost. And most of us, we don't really want to pay the cost because I have to pay this fee up front. I have to pay it up front. I'm paying it through my time. I'm paying for it through my finances. I'm paying for success through my sacrifices internally. I pay for success through getting over my mental hurdles. All of these things are ways that I pay for success. He says, no more excuses. Do it or don't do it, but don't make excuses. Do something, do anything. He said, get on with it. Get on with it. And I mean, I have seen, as a coach, I've been honored. I always consider supporting you all an honor, right? I really do. And so in this work, my life's work, I have seen over the course of time, a lot of us live on Someday Island where we know what we need to do, but then we just choose not to do it. We know what we need to do, but we make the decision. It's okay if I wait because whatever it is that I'm dealing with just isn't bad enough for me to catapult myself over this hurdle. So we live on Someday Island. We live on the island that says, one day I will become this person. One day I will show up as her. One day I will deliver what my people have been asking of me. One day I will. One day I'll become the mom I want to be. One day I'll become the wife I want to be. Some of us, I've seen a host of times, we wait until we're going to get a divorce before we decide that taking care of our physical health and looking good is a necessity. What's your reason? Someday I'll take better. Someday I'll get the baby weight off. It's not until the doctor tells you you're diabetic and you have high blood pressure that now you say, okay, now I really got to make a big deal. I really have to make some transitions. So he says either do it or don't do it. Les Brown would say it this way, that a lot of times we lean one way or to the other way, where we say, I'll try. I'll try to do that. I'll try to be that person. I'm going to try to attend the meeting. I'm going to try to drop the weight. I'm going to try to run a 5K. I'm going to try to grow this business. I'm going to try. Someday I will do. Someday I'll be a better wife. Someday I'll be a better mom. Someday I'll really pour into my business and my goals when these kids grow up and they get out of the house. When my life calms down. I had somebody tell me, y'all, and I was like, you know what, sis, whatever you think, you're right. Okay. She said, I'm I just have so much going on right now. She said that it doesn't make sense for me to join your program, right? And I kind of laughed. I sent her a message back and I was like, listen, coaching is never for me. Coaching is never for me. My relationship with my husband is solid. My communication with my 5 children is bomb. I am rested. I take naps. I make a full-time income on 3 days a week. Trust me, coaching is not for me. I was like, the coaching is for you. You said that you had trouble with delegating. You said your small children are running circles around you. You said you're exhausted and you're tired of being the primary problem solver. You said you were tired of procrastinating. Feel free to keep going like you've been going. Hey. Feel free to keep doing what you've been doing. If your life is working, why are we here? And so she had 3 kids. I said, listen, sis, coaching is for you. It's not for me. If all is well, more power to you. But you know when things need to change. So what he says here in this book is no more excuses. Either do it or don't do it. But don't make up reasons why you're not. We all say we're going to do these things sometime. We all say we're going to make more time for us sometime. We're going to make more time for our spouse sometime. We all say these things. And so what he says is success is a cost you have to pay. And it's not something you can put this investment on layaway. You can't put it on layaway. You can't say, I want to put on layaway giving up my naps or my Netflix shows or Amazon Prime or whatever you're watching right now. You can't put that on layaway. You can't put on layaway spending time on therapy so you can heal whatever's going on in here and here. You can't put on layaway the time that you need to invest in growing yourself, in learning and being more disciplined. You can't put that on layaway. Some of you guys came in, you thought when I said what's taking you so long to make your payment, you thought I was talking about you paying me. I'm talking about you paying yourself. Eric Thomas would say you owe you. And so very often, he says, when you ask this question, if you're honest, you will have to admit there are thousands and even millions of people who have had it worse than you, who have gone on to do wonderful things with their lives. And what thousands of millions of others have done, you can do as well. But the problem is many of us are not action takers. So what we do is we come to Lives Like Mine, we do trainings, we do all these things. You guys get excited, you get motivated. But then when we start to go through the process of change, when we start to go through the process of learning and developing, experiencing some uncomfortable emotions, when it's time to feel and experience those, that's when we begin to pull back. That's when we begin to say, you know what, maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is just too far away. Maybe I'm going to have to do too much to achieve this. And then we begin to back off. And so I want to challenge you, okay? I want to challenge you to be more hungry about what you want for your life. I want to challenge you to step in knee deep and say, I'm going to discipline myself. Y'all hear me? Even me being here tonight after the long day I've had with my family is an act of discipline because I said I was going to do something, and the worst promises to break are the ones to yourself. Those are the worst ones to break. You say you're going to do something and then you don't do it. You say you're going to work on this and then you don't. You say you're going to show up more consistently and you don't. You say you're going to give your all and you don't. So then we end up sitting here, okay? And we forget that success has a cost. You have to pay this cost up front. You cannot lay away it. You cannot put your cost of success on layaway. So the book says, self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. I'm going to say that for everybody again. This is a quote by Elbert Hubbard. I'm in the book, No Excuses by Brian Tracy. He says, self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. And if you make the choice not to do things that require discipline, you will remain the same. It takes discipline to spend your time wisely. It takes discipline to work on your body and exercise. I got up this morning and went to the gym at our hotel, and I was like, you know what? This is really hard. I told myself, this is hard, but hard things I am capable of doing. I'm capable of doing hard things. But self-discipline means that you do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether your feelings are in it or not. Okay? You don't have to be excited. You don't have to do flips of joy. And a lot of us are waiting to feel motivated. Hey ladies, we're waiting to feel motivated before we do the things. We feel like it's motivation and then self-discipline. I want to debate today that it's self-discipline and then motivation. That you do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. And the fruit of that, the result of that, is feeling excited about doing it. So we may have it mixed up. John C. Maxwell would say that motivation is an after effect. Motivation is the fruit. So you want to be successful. You want to see fruitfulness in your life on a regular basis. I personally want to see results every day. This is just me. Okay. I want to know that what I'm doing is working every day. I'll give you guys a little insight. My son, and I put this up on Facebook as well. My son had the opportunity. I saw a post they were looking for kids who want to be Dr. Dolittle, right? Who want to become veterinarians. He had just come back from veterinary camp, from a science program. And I was like, Steven, you be perfect for this. Let's go ahead and get you on TV again. And so for those of you who don't know, my son, he did an excerpt on the Drew Barrymore show before. His mama saw the opportunity. I know how to pitch some public relations via download of the Holy Ghost, okay? And I've been doing it, rinsing and repeating over and over again for a dozen different major media outlets. And so he, I saw this opportunity. I said, baby, we're just going to go ahead and get you on TV again. You ready? Let's do your video. And so we're going to be going to Fox Studios in Atlanta so he can film for this TV show. When everything comes out, I promise I will let the internet aunties know. However, hi, Lude, I love you. But I'm just so excited about what's happening, okay? One of the things I told him in this process is that it takes discipline to be ready to go to the next thing. It takes discipline. And so a lot of times we feel like it's motivation and then discipline and consistency. Instead, it is self-discipline and consistency, and that drives you to be motivated. His mother all the time. Listen, we're always practicing his public speaking. We're always practicing how he introduces himself and all the things. So when the moment comes, you are ready. You're ready. So what's taking so long? You see, having success, meeting your definition of fruitfulness and vibrancy and thriving and everything that I want in my life, I have. Your definition of that comes after your self-discipline. It comes after the sacrifice. I wish I could tell you that it comes ahead of time. I wish I could hype you up today and tell you that because I'm the guru of all things productivity and goal reaching, that this is how it works. But on the flip side, it's like going to work out. And when you're going to work out, you're sweating. You don't see any changes. You don't see any magic happening. But then one day your pants are a little looser. And then there's another day you see your face and you're like, oh snap, we don't have 3 chins anymore. My sis Lude on Instagram said, when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. And you can try, but you won't be able to execute at the highest level possible if you're not preparing now. And so Brian Tracy says that success is something we pay for. Y'all hear me? It's something that we pay for, and you cannot put it on layaway. You cannot put it there and, say, okay, listen, I'm going to do the sacrificing later on. I'm going to work hard and invest later on. Right now, I'm just going to chill and hope that I hit my goals, hope that something turns around. I asked one of my ladies who's watching this evening, I was like, if you did know what to do, what would you be doing? Because so often we sit and we're in this bubble and we feel so stuck and confined as if our life cannot change, as if we don't know what to do next. You absolutely know what to do. But a lot of times, just like Brian Tracy says, we are plagued with the someday syndrome. Someday I'll do this. Someday I'll make the move. Someday I'll invest. Someday I'll choose this. And then we spiral in the same place for an extended period of time. But I want you to know that your success is dependent on your ability to make decisions. It is dependent on your ability to lean in to what is right for you in this season and do it even if it doesn't feel great. I'm in a coaching mastermind, and it's so much about self-awareness, up-leveling your belief system, working on your core beliefs, your values, all of this kind of stuff. And I've become an exponentially better coach as a result of being there. But I want y'all to know, even I had to say, let me put my money where my mouth is. Let me put my money where my mouth is. Good evening. Let me dive all the way in, because I know that there's something that's waiting on me over there, that if I stand here in indecision, it's just going to take me too long. It's going to take me too long. And I don't want to wait. I want to have the fruit of this thing this year. I want to have the fruit of this at this time frame. I want my children to see their mother moving forward in this demographic, that every goal I set, I achieve, every single one. And me moving towards those goals gives me the opportunity to have a life that lets me be rested, that lets me feel peace. Even if I'm PMSing, I still love my family. Even when I'm having the moments, it's like, oh, there's space for me to go and recuperate and refine myself and pull myself back together. There's still space for that. And be who I'm supposed to be. And so, as I wrap up, the writer says self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. And a lot of times we are seeking a shortcut to our destination. A lot of times we lack discipline because we are in denial. He says discipline has been defined. I'm going to close out on this. Discipline has been defined as self-denial. This requires that you deny yourself the easy pleasures, the temptations that lead so many people astray, and instead discipline yourself to do only those things that you know are right for the long term and appropriate for the moment. What is leading to the fruitfulness long term? What is leading to the abundance long term? Hey, sis, what's my long term looking like? I have been working Momathon the last 3 years from the standpoint of my long term. My long term is television. That's Christina's long term. I don't know what your long term is. Mine is TV. I'm not saying that I want my own TV show. I might just want to do one season of a Netflix show. Just one season. I see it in my mind. I don't ever say what it's going to be about, like on camera, because somebody could run with it. But I'm like, oh, I just need one season. Just pay me real good for that one season and I'm going to retire and be a speaker only. That being said, I see my long term, I see the future of the conference. I can remember my event coordinator, Teresa. She's so phenomenal. She gives like all the good vibes and keeps me settled. And so she has a intimate women's retreat every year where she only takes like 10 women. She don't want to see 30, 50, 100 women. No, thank you. That's too much. She does very intimate women's retreats at like beaches and stuff like that. Very close knit. For Christina, I see vast. I see like, okay, this. And so we were talking one day about the comparison between our two events. And she was like, listen, I feel like, this core group of women, these are your women. And I was like, Teresa, I said, I see something so magnanimous. This is what I see. And so she loves intimate, close girlfriend moments, right? Like really close, intimate events. And for Christina, I'm like, no, I want 1,000 women. How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? I was sharing with another friend who's coming to speak at the conference this year. I don't know if she's watching. Her name is Jasmine. And we were talking about the transition of your event, and she was talking about how she is excited to, provide a different type of experience for her attendees this year. And I told her, I was like, you, the person, provide the experience. Whether you have 1 million people, like you're the person that drives that experience, your expertise. She's an amazing speaker coach. She's coming this year to teach our ladies about amplifying their voice and all the stuff. You got to be there and meet her because she's a phenom. And we were just talking about how this is your moment. This is where you're going. This is cementing you. This is cementing you. Like, this is everything. I was like, the revolution is being publicized, televised. Let them watch. Because a lot of us, we are not disciplined enough to go back to it, even if it's working, when it's not working, when it doesn't look like what everybody else is doing. That is when we throw in the towel and we make the decision, this is not for me. But success is a fee. You have to pay the cost of success up front. And a lot of us don't want to do that. A lot of us want to feel motivated before we have discipline and consistency, instead of discipline and consistency driving our motivation. Becoming motivated after the fact because I have muscle memory on how I'm supposed to handle things. I have muscle memory on this is what you do at this time of night, et cetera, et cetera. This is just who you are at this point. We just rinse and repeat. My kid's so loud. We just rinse and repeat and do the same things over and over again because this is who we are. I tell all my friends, all my clients, you are a big deal. You're supposed to change the world. Get used to it. Do the things that people who change the world do. People who change the world are okay with feeling uncomfortable. People who change the world pay the cost up front. People who change the world invest in their personal and professional development. People who change the world are not scared of all the things. And when they are scared, they are determined to know that is a fleeting emotion. There are multiple things I'm doing this year, including the conference, that I am like, whoa, I am a whole nother level of all over the place in a good way. Simultaneously, we are pushing towards the big picture, the long term, and you must be willing to pay your cost up front. Okay, that's it for tonight. If you're interested in coaching, y'all know where to find me. You can hit my DM anytime. Let's talk about getting you into a summer program because, it's June. It is June, and some of us are still ruminating over decisions, over processes, over choices, over mind drama. You might have mind drama. You may feel like you haven't got to where you want to be yet, or it's taken too long to get there. Either way, we need to talk about your mind, your mindset, your skill set, your time management, how you're spending your time, how we're going to get you to that goal faster. And then we get to work together through all the drama. We get to work together through all the drama so that you get there on schedule. Okay. So I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for joining me. Remember, success has a cost. Okay. And that cost has to be paid up front. Are you willing to make your payment? Love y'all so much. Have a good night.